For years, scientists have quietly kept some of the planet's strangest creatures a secret, from a panda-faced sea squirt hiding in Japan's reefs to a secret manta ray swimming the Atlantic. Why were they hidden, and what else is still out there? Skeleton panda sea squirt. Our journey into the world of hidden species begins in the depths of Japan's subtropical waters, where a creature so adorable yet eerie has been lurking in plain sight for years. Meet Clavalina ossipande, commonly known as the skeleton panda sea squirt, a tiny marine invertebrate that looks exactly like what you'd imagine if a panda bear became a Halloween decoration and decided to take up residence in a coral reef. This remarkable creature, measuring just a few millimeters to centimeters in length, was first photographed by local scuba diver Shunji Terai around 2017, but it would take scientists 7 long years before they officially described it to the world. The delay wasn't due to scientific oversight, it was a calculated decision. The skeleton panda sea squirt's incredible appearance, featuring white, rib-like blood vessels and black facial markings that perfectly mimic a panda's eyes and nose, made it an instant viral sensation when images first surfaced on Japanese social media. What makes this species so extraordinary isn't just its appearance, but its masterful ability to hide in plain sight. The creature forms small colonies of 1-4 zooids, with each individual completely free and connected only by vascular stolons. Its transparent body reveals internal structures that create the skeletal appearance, while the black endostyle and stark white transverse blood vessels in the pharynx give it that unmistakable skeleton moniker. Scientists initially kept this discovery under wraps because of its location. Endemic to the East China Sea off Kumajima Island in Okinawa Prefecture, this species inhabits a site that's accessible primarily in winter due to seasonal winds and tides, making it extremely vulnerable to disturbance from tourists or collectors. The formal description wasn't published until 2024, when researchers felt confident they had enough baseline data to protect the species from potential exploitation. Dr. Naohiro Hasegawa from Hokkaido University, who led the research team, noted, "The white parts that look like bones are the blood vessels that run horizontally through the sea squirt's gills. The black parts on the head that look like a panda's eyes and nose are just a pattern, and we don't really know why the pattern is there." This mysterious evolutionary trait continues to puzzle scientists who suspect it might serve as camouflage or some form of signaling mechanism. While this tiny ghost continues to haunt Japanese reefs, up next we have an ocean giant hiding in plain sight. Mobula yare, secret manta ray. Hidden in the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, a gentle giant has been swimming under false identity for over 15 years. Mobula yare, known as the Atlantic manta ray or secret manta ray, is a majestic filter-feeding elasmobranch that can reach up to 6 meters in wingspan and weigh over 1,300 kilograms. What makes this discovery so remarkable isn't just the animal's impressive size, but the fact that local fishermen have known about it for generations, while the scientific community remained oblivious. This cryptic species managed to evade formal scientific recognition due to its morphological and genetic similarities to the giant oceanic manta ray. The delay in recognition highlights the power of integrative taxonomy, citizen science, and cross-cultural knowledge in uncovering hidden biodiversity. For decades, researchers lumped this species together with other manta rays, dismissing subtle differences as natural variation rather than recognizing them as markers of a distinct species. The breakthrough came when researchers began paying attention to indigenous knowledge and local fishing communities. Fishermen in Belize, Mexico, and Brazil had long differentiated this species from others, describing it as smaller-headed than the oceanic ones, more reef-bound. Their observations, combined with citizen science apps like iNaturalist, provided crucial data that scientists had been missing. What makes Mobula yare distinct from its relatives are subtle but significant differences. The dorsal surface features unique white shoulder patches, forming mirror-image right-angled triangles that converge into a T or V-shape midline, completely different from the parallel stripes of other manta species. Additionally, it retains a vestigial stinging spine on its tail, a feature absent in other manta rays. Dr. Andrea Marshall, known as the Queen of Mantas, reflected on the discovery. "It was one of the shocks of my life. Fishermen knew all along." This revelation forced the scientific community to confront the limitations of traditional taxonomic approaches and the importance of incorporating local knowledge into biodiversity research. The species was finally described in July 2025, marking it as the 3rd recognized manta ray species globally. Up next, we have a snake that vanished completely. Barbados thread snake, Tetrachylostoma kale. In the tropical paradise of Barbados, a creature no bigger than a spaghetti strand has pulled off one of nature's greatest disappearing acts. Tetrachylostoma carli, known as the Barbados thread snake, holds the record as the world's smallest known snake species, measuring just 10.4 centimeters in total length and weighing a mere 0.6 grams. But this tiny serpent's story isn't just about its diminutive size, it's about a species that vanished from scientific records for 18 years, leading researchers to fear it had gone extinct. The thread snake's disappearance wasn't entirely surprising given Barbados's environmental challenges. The island has lost 99% of its native forests to agriculture and development, leaving this fossorial specialist with precious little habitat. The snake's cryptic habits, spending most of its life underground, feeding exclusively on ant and termite larvae, and being easily mistaken for an earthworm, made it nearly impossible to find. Scientists kept the search efforts relatively quiet for good reason. The species has been targeted by the illegal pet trade, where rare snakes can fetch hundreds of dollars from private collectors. By keeping search locations and methods confidential, researchers hope to protect any remaining populations from exploitation. The breakthrough came in July 2025 during a biodiversity survey funded by Rewild, when the Barbados Wildlife Reserves team discovered a single specimen under a rock in flower forest. The find was verified through DNA matching against historical specimens, confirming that this was indeed the same species that had been missing for nearly 2 decades. Dr. S. Blair Hedges, who originally described the species in 2008, had noted, "It represents the lower size limit for snakes, as smaller would preclude egg laying. This biological constraint makes the species particularly vulnerable, with females laying only 1 large egg per clutch, and such a restricted range, every individual counts for the species' survival." The rediscovery has reignited conservation efforts on the island, with calls for protected micro-reserves to safeguard the species' subterranean niche. Bone collector, caterpillar, Hyposmocoma espetum. In the misty mountains of Hawaii, a tiny predator has been carrying out one of nature's most macabre fashion shows for over 17 years, completely hidden from the scientific world. The bone collector caterpillar, an undescribed species in the genus Hyposmocoma, is a carnivorous larva that scavenges spiderwebs for dead arthropods and adorns its portable silk case with the remains like a grotesque suit of armor. This remarkable creature, measuring just 5 millimeters in length, represents one of the most extreme examples of deliberate scientific secrecy. University of Hawaii researchers kept this discovery under wraps for 17 years, from its first sighting in 2008 until the publication in 2025, fearing that publicity would doom the species through habitat disruption or illegal collection. The caterpillar's behavior is unlike anything else known in the insect world. It raids spiderwebs for trapped prey, devours the soft tissues, and then meticulously decorates its silk case with the indigestible exoskeletons. The result is a mobile horror show featuring iridescent flywings for shimmer, hardened weevil heads for bulk, ant mandibles for edges, and beetle wing covers for structural integrity. Dr. Daniel Rubinoff, who led the research, described his first encounter. "It looked like a tiny serial killer dragging trophies. The comparison isn't far off. Each caterpillar's case tells the story of its hunting success, with some specimens carrying remains from 6 different insect families. The species is restricted to a mere 15 square kilometers in the Waianae Mountains of Oahu, making it one of the most geographically limited insects on Earth. Only 62 specimens have been documented across 150-plus surveys over 17 years, rendering it critically endangered. The extreme rarity, combined with Hawaii's history of species exploitation by collectors, justified the researchers' decision to delay publication until they had comprehensive protection measures in place. The caterpillar's case-building behavior peaks after feeding, taking 2 to 4 hours to select and attach debris based on size and fit. This isn't random decoration. It's a sophisticated engineering project that provides both camouflage and protection, allowing the caterpillar to blend seamlessly with the detritus in spider webs while avoiding detection by the very spiders whose traps it raids. While this killer decorates with corpses, up next we have a mammal with vampire fangs. The vampire hedgehog. Deep in the mist-shrouded highlands of Vietnam's Central Highlands, a creature that sounds like it escaped from a Transylvanian folklore tale has been hiding in plain sight. Hylamis macarong, dubbed the vampire hedgehog, or Dalat gymnur, is a diminutive mammal that bridges the gap between hedgehogs and shrews, sporting an outsized set of fang-like incisors that would make any vampire proud. This 30-50 gram nocturnal insectivore managed to remain hidden from science due to Southeast Asia's impenetrable karst forests and chronically underfunded survey efforts. The species was formally unveiled in 2023 as part of a taxonomic overhaul, revealing 5 new Hylomes species, highlighting just how much biodiversity remains unknown in this region. What makes this species truly remarkable: elongated upper incisors that can measure up to 5 millimeters in length. These fangs are especially prominent in males and are 20–30% longer than those found in females, potentially serving roles in territorial combat or enhanced predation capabilities that scientists are still trying to understand. Lead author Dr. Arlo Hinckley from the Smithsonian noted, "These incisors are unlike anything we've seen in other gymnures. They're built for something special, perhaps wrestling rivals or skewering tough prey." The delayed description of this species reflects the complex political and logistical challenges of conducting biodiversity research in Vietnam. The vampire hedgehog is endemic to the biodiverse but beleaguered Central Highlands, particularly the Dalat Plateau, where ongoing deforestation and agricultural expansion threaten its montane forest habitat. The species was featured prominently in WWF's 2024 Hidden Treasures report, alongside 233 other Mekong novelties, serving as a poster child for conserving Asia's overlooked micro-mammals. Despite its fearsome nickname, this tiny creature represents the incredible diversity still waiting to be discovered in one of the world's most threatened biodiversity hotspots. Up next, we have a rare neon assassin in Myanmar: bright green pit viper, Trimeresurus wetzi. In the politically turbulent landscape of Myanmar, a striking serpent has been slithering through scientific literature in disguise for decades. Trimeresurus wetzi, known as Uetzi's pit viper or the bright green pit viper, is a vivid arboreal predator whose neon green coloration allowed it to hide in plain sight. Among the hundreds of similar-looking Asian pit vipers, this hemotoxic envenomator, reaching up to 82 centimeters in length, managed to evade formal recognition despite being collected and studied for years. The species was hidden within the Trimeresurus albolabris species complex, a group of morphologically conservative vipers that have confounded taxonomists since the 1800s. Only through genetic analysis and careful examination of subtle anatomical features were researchers finally able to distinguish this species from its relatives. This delayed description reflects both the challenges of conducting research in Myanmar and the conservative nature of snake taxonomy. Political instability following the 2021 coup severely limited fieldwork opportunities, forcing scientists to rely on museum specimens and archived genetic samples to complete their analysis. The species honors Peter Wetz from Virginia Commonwealth University, creator and curator of the Reptile Database, an online catalog that has become indispensable to herpetologists worldwide. The authors noted that without this database, much of modern reptile research would be impossible, making the dedication particularly fitting. What distinguishes T. wetzi from its relatives are subtle but consistent differences in scale arrangements and a unique hemipenal structure featuring forked colliculate ornamentation. The species also shows tolerance for disturbed habitats, being found in rubber plantations and rice paddy edges rather than just pristine forests, which may have contributed to its delayed recognition as researchers focused primarily on pristine wilderness areas. Interestingly, the species range has recently been extended to include India's Mizoram state, discovered through cross-border collaboration that highlighted how political boundaries often obscure natural species distributions. This neon ninja, as it's been dubbed in viral media, represents both the hidden diversity within well-studied groups and the challenges of conducting systematic research in politically unstable regions. Karamoja dwarf gecko. In the ancient Inselbergs of Uganda's Albertine Rift, a diminutive gecko has been masquerading as its more common relatives for decades. Lygodactylus karamoja, the Karamoja dwarf gecko, is a cryptic species whose subtle morphology and elusive habits kept it lumped with other small African geckos until genetic analysis finally revealed its unique identity. This tiny lizard, reaching a maximum snout vent length of just 37.7 millimeters, exemplifies the hidden biodiversity of East Africa's savannas. The species was unveiled in 2023 as part of a taxonomic revision, revealing 5 new species from the L. gutteralis complex, demonstrating how morphological conservatism can mask extraordinary diversity. Scientists kept this discovery relatively quiet due to concerns about the pet trade. Small, colorful geckos are highly sought after by reptile enthusiasts, and new species often experience collection pressure immediately after their scientific description. By delaying publicity and withholding precise locality information, researchers hope to establish baseline population data before the species faced potential exploitation. The gecko's discovery story includes an unexpected twist. The holotype was a pregnant female carrying visible embryos, providing valuable insights into the species' reproductive biology from the very first specimen. This serendipitous find allowed researchers to understand aspects of the species' life cycle that might have taken years of additional fieldwork to document. What makes L. Karamoja distinctive are subtle differences in scale arrangements, body proportions, and coloration patterns. The species is characterized by 2 to 3 thin gular chevrons, fewer postmental scales, and a specific eye-to-head length ratio that distinguish it from closely related species. These differences, while minute, represent millions of years of independent evolution in the isolated woodlands of eastern Uganda. The species is restricted to the northern Albertine Rift, occupying woodland savannas that have been heavily modified by pastoralism. This tolerance for anthropogenically altered habitats may have actually aided its survival, as pristine gecko habitat has become increasingly rare throughout its range. Our next species has been painting the waterways with colors so vibrant they seem impossible. Three-colored crab, Lepidothelphusa meneri. In the streams of Indonesian Borneo, a tiny crustacean has been painting the waterways with colors so vibrant that locals have been collecting them for aquarium trade for decades, completely unaware they were handling an undescribed species. Lepidothelphusa meneri, known as the three-colored crab or Borneo tricolor crab, is a diminutive freshwater crab that displays flag-like hues of yellow, black, purple, and blue. This remarkable species, measuring just 10-14 millimeters across its carapace, managed to hide in the global pet trade for years before scientists took notice. The discovery was triggered by German aquarist Jochen K. Menner, who alerted researchers to the species' presence in Kalimantan via trade photos in 2021, highlighting how the ornamental animal trade can sometimes serve as an unexpected source of taxonomic discoveries. The delay in formal description reflects both the challenges of studying Southeast Asian freshwater crustaceans and the complex relationship between local communities, commercial trade, and scientific research. Local collectors in Sintang Regency had been harvesting these crabs for decades as pretty mountain crabs for Jakarta markets, mistaking them for variations of already known species rather than recognizing their uniqueness. What makes L. meneri truly spectacular is its tri-colored carapace pattern. The frontal third is bright yellow-orange like sunrise on bark, the median third is dark brown to purplish black for shadowy camouflage, and the posterior third displays pale to vivid blue, reminiscent of sapphire pools. This flag pattern, reminiscent of Borneo's vibrant textiles, remains uniform across both sexes and serves as the species' most diagnostic feature. Dr. Peter Ng from the National University of Singapore, who led the description, noted that the discovery highlights the bridge between indigenous collection networks and formal taxonomy. Local knowledge had long recognized this crab as distinct, but it took formal scientific methods to confirm its species status and understand its evolutionary relationships. The species is endemic to a tiny area around the Gunung Kelam Massif in West Kalimantan, where it inhabits oligotrophic streams with specific water chemistry requirements. Its restricted range of approximately 500 square kilometers makes it extremely vulnerable to habitat degradation from palm oil expansion and gold mining, threats that are accelerating throughout Indonesian Borneo. But even the most colorful creatures pale in comparison to our next discovery, a bee so dark and mysterious it embodies grief itself. All-black bee, Hylaeus pomako. On the rugged southern slopes of Molokai, Hawaii, a tiny black bee has been mourning in solitude for over 125 years, completely hidden from scientific recognition until 2024. Hylaeus pomako, known as the all-black bee, or palmako, is a diminutive solitary pollinator that represents the first new Hylaeus species discovered on Molokai in well over a century. This 5 to 7 millimeter bee managed to remain hidden despite intensive surveys of Hawaii's endangered native insects. The species' mourning appearance, completely matte black without the typical yellow facial markings found in other Hawaiian Hylaeus species, allowed it to blend seamlessly into the dark volcanic substrates of its habitat. Its name, Paumako, means mourning or grief in Hawaiian, reflecting both its somber coloration and the broader loss of biodiversity in Hawaiian forests. Dr. Carl Magnaka, the entomologist who discovered the species, deliberately withheld formal publication for nearly a year after collection, citing concerns about potential exploitation by insect collectors. collectors. Hawaii has a documented history of rare native insects being targeted by collectors, with some Hylaeus species fetching $50 to $200 on online markets. The bee's discovery was part of the MOPEP DLNR insect survey, the first broad-scale arthropod census in the Makololao area since the pioneering work of naturalist R.C.L. Perkins in the 1890s. The survey not only yielded H. Paumaco, but also led to the rediscovery of 2 other Hylaeus species that hadn't been seen for over 100 years. What makes this species particularly significant is its apparent specialization on a single endangered plant species. H. Paumaco appears to be an oligoledge, collecting pollen exclusively from Senna gaudichaudi, which has fewer than 1,000 plants remaining in the wild. This intimate plant-pollinator relationship makes both species vulnerable. The loss of either could doom the other. The bee's habitat is restricted to approximately 5 square kilometers of fenced conservation land in Makololao Ahupua'a, an area that was only recently protected from feral ungulates. The timing of the discovery, just after fence installation, suggests that habitat restoration efforts may be allowing previously suppressed species to recover, offering hope for other lost Hawaiian endemics. Up next, we have another dragon lurking beneath Antarctic ice. Banded dragonfish, Acarataxis gouldae. In the frigid depths of the Southern Ocean, a fish has been swimming in scientific anonymity for nearly 2 decades, hidden away in museum jars and mistaken for its more common relatives. Acarataxis gouldae, known as the banded dragonfish, is a rare benthic fish that was finally recognized as a distinct species in August 2024, despite specimens being collected and archived since 2007. This 13-centimeter predator represents one of the most dramatic examples of museum genomics, the practice of mining archived specimens for new discoveries. The species was identified from larval specimens that had been sitting in museum drawers for over 15 years, waiting for the right combination of taxonomic expertise and genetic technology to reveal their true identity. PhD candidate Andrew Corso, who led the discovery, described his revelation. It was like finding a misfiled letter in a dusty archive. These tiny fish had been waiting for their story. The specimens had been initially catalogued as larvae of the more widespread Acarataxis nudiceps, but genetic screening revealed significant differences that warranted species recognition. The delayed recognition reflects the unique challenges of Antarctic research, where brief seasonal windows, extreme weather, and logistical complexities mean that many specimens are collected opportunistically and may not be thoroughly examined for years or even decades. The species was collected during Palmer long-term ecological research surveys aboard the RV Lawrence M. Gould, a research vessel that was decommissioned in 2024 after more than 20 years of Antarctic service. What makes A. Goulda distinctive are its prominent black vertical bands that give it the banded designation. These bands are visible even in larvae and intensify as the fish matures, providing a reliable way to distinguish it from its relatives. The species appears to be endemic to the western Antarctic peninsula, where it faces emerging threats from the expanding krill fishery. The species name honors both the RV Lawrence M. Gould and its crews, who facilitated countless Southern Ocean expeditions. This dedication ensures that the vessel's scientific legacy will persist long after its retirement, swimming through Antarctic waters in the form of this newly recognized species. Angolan lidless skink, Panaspis erica. In the ancient granite outcrops of Angola's Serra da Neve Inselberg, a tiny lizard has been living as a fossil relic while the modern world changed around it. Panaspis ericae, known as Erica's snake-eyed skink, or the Angolan lidless skink, is a cryptic fossorial reptile that was finally recognized as a distinct species in July 2024, after being confused with its relatives for decades. This diminutive skink, measuring just 35 millimeters in length, represents the incredible biodiversity hidden within Angola's understudied landscapes. The species was discovered during expeditions by the Angolan-German Biodiversity Project, highlighting the importance of international collaboration in exploring post-conflict regions. What makes P. erica particularly remarkable is its evolutionary story. The species belongs to a group of lizards with immovable, transparent lower eyelids, giving them their snake-eyed or lidless appearance. This adaptation allows them to see while burrowing underground, but it also makes them incredibly difficult to study, since they spend most of their lives hidden beneath the surface. The species is named after Erica Tavares, an Angolan biologist and conservationist who has championed youth-led environmental activism in post-war Angola. The dedication recognizes the growing role of local scientists in documenting their country's biodiversity and the importance of supporting indigenous research capacity. The delayed recognition of this species reflects both the historical challenges of conducting research in Angola during decades of civil conflict and the conservative nature of skink taxonomy. These lizards show extraordinary extreme morphological conservatism, with different species often looking nearly identical to untrained eyes. Only through detailed genetic analysis and microscopic examination of scale arrangements could researchers confirm that this population represented a distinct evolutionary lineage. P. ericae is endemic to the Serra da Neve Inselberg, a granite massif that rises like an island from the surrounding Caucoveld Desert. These ancient rock formations serve as refugia for endemic species, preserving evolutionary lineages that may be millions of years old. The species' copper-brown coloration helps it blend perfectly with the weathered granite surfaces where it forages for termites and ants. While this skink burrows through granite, up next we have a shrimp dancing invisibly in Australian waters. Skeleton shrimp, Caprella tamboensis. In the brackish waters of southeastern Australia's Gippsland lakes, a creature so perfectly camouflaged that it's virtually invisible has been fooling fishermen and scientists alike for decades. Caprella tamboensis, known as the Gippsland skeleton shrimp or Lake Tambo caprellid, is a ghostly amphipod that drifts through coastal estuaries like a translucent twig. This remarkable 10 to 15 millimeter crustacean managed to evade scientific recognition despite living in one of Australia's most heavily fished and studied waterways. The species was finally described in 2023 after being discovered in swarms of thousands on fishing nets, highlighting how even common animals can remain scientifically unknown when they're masters of disguise. The delay in recognition reflects the incredible cryptic abilities of skeleton shrimps. These creatures sway rhythmically to mimic seaweed filaments, achieving camouflage success rates over 90%. Their thread-like bodies and translucent coloration make them nearly impossible to distinguish from the algae and debris they cling to, explaining why they evaded standard marine surveys for so long. Commercial fisher Matt Jenkins made the accidental discovery in February 2018 when his nets came up from Lake Tambo, teeming with thousands of weird stick things. Initially dismissed as the invasive Caprella mutica, the specimens were preserved for analysis at the Australian Museum Research Institute, where genetic sequencing revealed their distinct identity. What makes C. tamboensis unique among skeleton shrimps is its estuarine tolerance and specific structural features. The species has a 5-articulate flagellum on antenna 1 compared to 4 in related species, and a notably longer gnathopod 2 propodus. These seemingly minor differences represent significant evolutionary adaptations to the brackish water environment of the Gippsland lakes. The species plays an important ecological role as both algal grazer and prey item for fish and birds, helping to control diatom growth on seagrass while serving as a crucial food source in the estuarine ecosystem. Its discovery has prompted new citizen science initiatives to document other potentially overlooked invertebrates in Australia's coastal waters. Narrow-banded rain snake, Smithopus leptofasciatus. In the rain-soaked hills of Mizoram, India, a serpent has been playing an elaborate game of hide-and-seek with scientists, appearing only during the heaviest monsoon downpours and vanishing completely during dry seasons. Smithopus leptofasciatus, known as the narrow-banded rain snake or ruaharul, is a semi-aquatic colubrid that emerges like a monsoon phantom from the forest floor. This elusive snake, reaching a maximum length of 411 millimeters, represents one of the most seasonally restricted reptiles known to science. The species is active only during heavy rains from June to September, retreating underground during dry seasons, making it nearly impossible to study using conventional survey methods. The delayed discovery reflects both the logistical challenges of monsoon research and the recent recognition of the genus Smithopus itself. The genus was only erected in 2019, and scientists are still working to understand the diversity within this group of specialized natricine snakes. The narrow-banded rain snake represents the third species in the genus endemic to Mizoram, highlighting the Northeast's incredible herpetological diversity. The breakthrough came through a combination of roadkill discovery and persistence. The first specimen was found as roadkill in July 2023 during a heavy downpour, followed by the capture of a live male the next day through nocturnal hand-searching after another storm. Lead author Lal Muansanga, who has described 11 reptile species, noted, "Monsoon chaos is its cloak. We caught it by sheer luck on a flooded road." The species' extreme seasonal behavior represents an adaptation to the monsoon climate of northeast India, where the timing of reproduction and feeding must be synchronized with predictable rainfall patterns. What makes S. leptofasciatus distinctive are its narrow, incomplete transverse bands that give it the narrow-banded designation. These markings, combined with specific scale count differences and genetic divergence, distinguish it from closely related species. The species appears to be a specialist predator of stream-dwelling prey like fish and amphibian larvae, display, explaining its tight association with riparian habitats. Thanks for watching. Please check out more interesting videos from the cards on the screen.